I'm Captain Monte with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
This week we've been working on the edge of Fena Docks over here at the McDermott area, up along this bulkhead and rocks through here. We've been catching a lot of redfish through here. There have been slot reds, there have been bull reds. Just working it all the way from the start of them pilings and working all the way to the point and out in front. Primarily, I've been using live shrimp, using a knocker rig with the quarter to a half-ounce weight, just depending on what that current is doing. Throwing them baits right up on the rocks and letting them drift off. There have been good fish all through here on the point and on the edges. Slot reds and bull reds. We've been also catching a few mangrove snapper. I've been catching a few sheephead are starting to show up, the males anyway, the short ones, but it won't be long that the females will be coming through. So primarily I've been throwing live shrimp at them on a knocker rig, and that's been pretty much doing it. We've also been catching a few good trout through here. When the jetties are right, been coming down here to the points of the south and the north jetty. It seems like them redfish are starting to school up and make their migration. So out here, it just all depends. You can use cut mullet, cut menhaden, or even cut ladyfish. If you catch some ladyfish, cut them up in chunks. And I'm using, just depending if I'm throwing it up on the rocks, then I'm using like a 1/4 ounce weight. And if I'm just dropping it straight down, then I'm using like a 1.5 to a 3 ounce weight, just depending what that tide is doing. But out here right now, if you can get out here, I know the seas are been up and down, but there have been pompano out here. There have been mangrove snapper. We've been catching slot reds, bull reds. Been also a few sheephead out here. There's also some bigger sharks. Those of you that like to catch sharks, right now, get your big baits and send them down. There's some big sharks out here. There's also some smaller sharks. We've also been seeing a lot of tarpon through here. Not real big ones, but there have been some 30 and 40 pounders out here working on the points of the North Jetty. So those of you that haven't caught a tarpon and got that on your bucket list, this is the time to be out there. Live mullet, or even your favorite plastic, and you can put a trailing hook on it. That seems to work the best. Bigger baits are primarily the best thing. What I've used to do is I'll even run a balloon up above the leader, about 3 or 4 foot, and send a live mullet out there. That works real well. So out here at the jetties, when it's doable, there's been a lot of good fish. I've been catching a lot of big trout out here on live shrimp. If you got live croaker, that works also. There have been some good-sized trout. I know they're talking about changing the limits again. So get out there and get your limits while you can. The surf has still got a lot of bait out here on the surf. There have been trout out here. There have been bull reds, slot reds, tarpon out here. There's also been some triple tail. And on the trout, I've been using live croaker and the redfish. You can use croaker or cut mullet's been working real well. All the way down here to the ranch house. If you see the mullet up on the beach, then get them baits all the way up there on the shore, up there in that first cut. And there's been a lot of good reds out here. From right here from the ranch house back, primarily trout and a few reds. Once you get to what we call the ranch house here at San Jose Island and down towards Cedar Bayou, redfish and trout. There's a lot of bait out here. The mullet has been right up on the beach, so I start out a little deeper and work the third gut, and then I'll start going in, work the second gut, and if the water allows me, I'll get up in there where I can throw up into that first gut. A lot of good redfish down here. Down here at Caldwell Pier, down here, I know they've been catching bull reds off the pier. Out here on the beach, we got Sharkathon coming. There have been a lot of stingrays out here. the cow nose rays, pompano. So those of you that are into the sharkathon, you should be able to get your sharks out here. There's been some good ones out here. We've also been coming back in and working up here on this point of Lily Ann Channel right through here. There have been a school of reds working from there down to the lighthouse. So all this area through here, if you can get up on your trolling motor and get up on your raised platform and start looking for the fish, you can see that school. If they're working that flat up here shallow and that Manhattan's moving, them reds have been hanging off right through here. You know, they're either up on this flat, depending if we have a northeast wind. If we got a northeast wind, then it pushes them over here to Fena Docks over on this side. So it just all depends what that wind is doing, what that current is doing. But there's a lot of good fish schooling up right now. We've also been coming over here to what we call peewees up here by these houses. There have been black drum and redfish over here on these piers behind these houses. You cannot tie up to the pier, but you can use your trolling motor or you can anchor up. There have been trout through here. There's been black drum. There have been mangrove snapper. So a lot of different species working here by these houses. If you come down and you get down here to the rocks, right through here from the point of Mustang and all the way down, especially on a northeast wind, there have been redfish through here. There have been trout. Live shrimp, live mullet, or your favorite cut bait has been working real well. Tides have been fluctuating from a real high to a low in the afternoon. But out here from the point of Ransom on the outside and working this, there have been pretty good trout working up along these rocks and these edges right through here. From the point of Ransom all the way down to the point of Dagger. There have been good trout on live croaker, or you can use your favorite plastics. Even live shrimp under a popping cork. As the sun comes up, get in there a little bit tighter up on this bank. There have been black drum. There have been redfish. Live mullet, live piggy perch have been working real well. And if the wind's blowing out of the north, you can come on the inside and start working these breaks in between these islands. There have been good redfish through here. There's also been black drum. You can also come back up along the ICW and work these islands and these spoil banks through here. There have been good numbers of redfish working up on these spoil banks, along these islands. You can also jump on the other side of Sunray, which is the Sunray right here, and you can start working these islands over here in Redfish Bay. Your favorite cut baits, live piggies have been working real well. Cut shrimp, dead shrimp with just a lead head, been catching the black drum. So all this in Redfish Bay has been working pretty good. Working the chains of islands up real tight and just chucking the baits in the potholes. That's been working real well. First thing in the mornings, you can catch a trout. Just dropping these live croaker or live piggies in the potholes and letting them set. Been some pretty good numbers of trout all along these potholes here. Over here in Corpus Christi Bay, all the way from the Lexington and down to the T-heads. First thing in the morning, we've been targeting trout through here with live croaker or live shrimp. The breaks in between the rocks, we've been working these points, and there have been black drum, there have been mangrove snapper, mixed in with speckled trout and redfish. So each one of these little breaks in between the rocks, working the points, have been working real well. If Corpus Christi Bay is smooth enough, getting out here on these gas wells out here. There have been speckled trout through here. There have been bull reds. There have also been showing up on the black drum. I just kind of go around these wells and try to find the bulk of the fish with my fish finder. Once I do that, then I'll set the spot lock on my trolling motor and start getting on the trout or the redfish. There are rock piles that come off around these wells. If you'll look around each one of these wells, some of these wells got rock piles that come off of them pretty good little ways. If the fish aren't right around the well, then kind of target off to the edge of these rock piles. That works real well. We've also been going from Indian Point Pier and working these flats through here. There have been pretty good numbers of redfish through here with cut ladyfish or cut menhaden or cut mullet or even live mullet. There have been good numbers of redfish through here. There have also been mangrove snappers up on the piers, you know, up along the pilings. The trout have also been out here. Live croaker's been working the best, so that's pretty much what I've been using. You've also got some rocks on the outside right through here. There have been some pretty good sized mangroves hanging up along these rocks. We've been catching mangroves and speckled trout. Live shrimp has been the ticket on these rocks right through here.
Thanks for watching. This is Capt Monte.